Vjeran Tomic grew up between two worlds, Paris and rural Bosnia. His life was a constant balancing act, shaped by the stark contrast between the city's endless energy and the wild, open spaces of the countryside. His parents were Yugoslav immigrants, and his childhood was a constant shuffle between the city's bustle and the traditions of his family's homeland. In Paris, he was surrounded by noise, movement, and the ever-present sense of being an outsider. But in the quiet, rugged countryside, he found a different rhythm, one that demanded patience, toughness, and a deep connection to the land. In Bosnia, he learned resilience and self-reliance from his grandmother, spending days climbing hills, exploring forests, and learning to fend for himself in a world that was both beautiful and unforgiving. Climbing became his passion, a way to test himself, to escape, and to feel truly alive. Each ascent was a lesson in courage and creativity. Back in Paris, he felt like an outsider, disconnected from classmates and city life. The city's walls felt confining, its people distant. The rooftops became his refuge, a place to be alone and free, high above the crowds where he could breathe and dream. He saw the city as a vertical playground, a network of challenges waiting to be conquered, each rooftop a new frontier. Tomic learned to blend in, to move unseen, and to read his environment with a climber's eye. He became a master of observation, always alert to the smallest details. He wasn't driven by money or status, but by the thrill of movement, the challenge of the climb, and the need to belong somewhere, even if only for a moment. His dual upbringing forged a loner, an observer who existed on the fringes, always watching, rarely participating. The lessons from Bosnia, toughness, adaptability, invisibility, became the foundation for his future. He learned to trust his instincts and rely on his own resourcefulness. He learned to see opportunity where others saw only obstacles, turning barriers into pathways and limits into possibilities. Tomic's childhood wasn't just a backstory, it was the blueprint for his life as a master thief, shaping his every move and decision. He became a shadow, navigating hidden spaces long before he ever thought of stealing, always searching for a place to call his own. The city and the countryside both shaped him, but neither claimed him. He belonged everywhere and nowhere at once. He was always in between, never quite belonging, always watching, always climbing, forever searching for his place in the world. This outsider's perspective would define everything he did next, setting him on a path that only someone who lived between worlds could ever truly understand. As a teenager, Tomic dropped out of school and embraced the night. While most of his peers were asleep, he wandered the city's labyrinthine streets, drawn to the quiet and the mystery that darkness offered. Paris became his training ground, not for romance, but for climbing. The city's rooftops and facades were his classroom, and every building was a new lesson in risk and reward. He scaled apartment facades, learning the vulnerabilities of architecture. Each climb revealed secrets, loose stones, hidden ledges, and the patterns of light and shadow that could either betray or protect him. His motivation was the challenge, not the loot. For Tomic, the act itself was a test of skill and nerve, a way to prove himself to the only judge who mattered, himself. He studied buildings, routines, and shadows, perfecting his craft through repetition. Night after night, he observed the city's rhythms, learning when it slept and when it stirred. Early burglaries were almost accidental. He slipped in, took what was easy, and vanished. The thrill was in the entry and escape, not the haul. Tomic developed a strict code: no violence, no unnecessary damage, and absolute stealth. He believed in leaving no trace, moving like a whisper through the night. He worked alone, trusting no one, planning every move with precision. Every detail was considered, every risk weighed before he acted. His goal was to be invisible, so subtle that victims might not notice for days. The perfect crime for Tomic was one that left only questions and silence behind. The press dubbed him Spider-Man for his uncanny climbing skills. His exploits became urban legend, whispered about in both fear and awe. He became a legend in the underworld, but sought only his own approval. Fame was an accident, not a goal. While others built careers, Tomic honed his illegal art. He trained his body and mind, pushing himself to new heights, literally and figuratively. Each theft was a performance, an act of defiance against a world where he never fit in. The city was his stage, and every heist a silent rebellion. He was an athlete, a strategist, and a phantom. Every move was calculated, every escape a dance with danger. His crimes were not just about theft, but about mastery and control. For Tomic, Each successful job was proof of his own evolution. Tomic carved out his own space, high above the city's rules. Up there, he was free, answerable to no one but himself. He was a ghost, perfecting his craft in the shadows. In the silent hours before dawn, Tomic became both legend and myth, vanishing before the world awoke. Years of stealing jewels left Tomic unfulfilled. The thrill faded, the loot felt empty. He began to notice the art in the homes he burgled, captivated by beauty, not price. Tomic taught himself art history, developing a connoisseur's eye. He started targeting paintings that spoke to him, not just valuables. Stealing art became a new obsession, a way to connect with the artists he admired. He saw himself as liberating masterpieces from neglect. Selling stolen art was a new challenge, requiring connections he didn't have. Enter Jean-Michel Corvez, an antique dealer with black market ties. Corvez saw Tomic's talent and offered him a new path: art theft for hire. Together, they set their sights on bigger, riskier targets. Tomic and Corvez formed a partnership built on mutual ambition, but also on a shared hunger for more than just money. Each saw in the other a way to reach heights they could never achieve alone. Tomic had the skills, the hands of a master thief, and the mind of a strategist. Corvez brought the clients, the network, and the ability to open doors in the criminal underworld. Corvez became the indispensable middleman, connecting Tomic's daring heists to wealthy, secretive collectors who craved what could not be bought in any gallery. He fed Tomic's ambition, commissioning specific works for shadowy buyers and always pushing for bigger, riskier jobs. Their collaboration raised the stakes. Targets became more valuable, plans more intricate, and the rewards more intoxicating. Tomic's heists grew bolder, each one a test of skill, nerve, and trust between the two men. One early job, a flawless theft from a private collection, proved their method worked and set the tone for what was to come. Tomic's artistry and Corvez's connections made them a formidable team, each success fueling their confidence and ambition. Success emboldened them. The money was good, but the thrill of the chase, the adrenaline of the impossible, was even better. Corvez began to dream bigger. Museums, legendary scores, the kind of jobs that would make history. The idea of robbing a museum, once unthinkable, became their next goal, a challenge neither could resist. They were no longer just thieves. They were hunters of masterpieces, chasing glory as much as fortune. The stage was set for their most audacious plan yet, a heist that would test the limits of their partnership and their ambition. Corvez proposed the ultimate target, the Musée d'Art Moderne de la Ville de Paris. Robbing a museum was a different league, an irresistible challenge for Tomic. He began months of reconnaissance, studying the museum's layout, security, and routines. Tomic discovered a critical flaw, a broken motion detector on a bay window. Bureaucratic delays left the window vulnerable. Over several nights, he prepared the entry, loosening screws, treating glass, planning every detail. He mapped his route, timed his moves, and memorized the guards' patterns. Corvez provided a wish list. Picasso, Matisse, Modigliani. Tomic found another lapse. The central alarm system was down for weeks. The guards' patrols were predictable. If he moved carefully, he could enter, steal, and vanish without a trace. Every risk was calculated, every step rehearsed. The perfect heist was within reach. In the early hours of May 20th, 2010, Tomic struck. Dressed in black, he removed the window grill and glass, slipping silently inside. The museum was his, empty, still, and filled with masterpieces. He intended to take just one or two paintings, but the beauty overwhelmed him. He carefully removed 5 works: Picasso, Matisse, Modigliani, Braque, and Leger. Each was handled with reverence, not violence. Tomic exited the way he came, restoring the window behind him. The operation was swift and silent, no alarms, no chase. As dawn broke, Paris was unaware it had lost treasures worth over 100 million euros. Tomic vanished into the city, leaving only empty frames behind. The heist was a masterpiece of stealth. No one saw him come or go. The art world would wake to a nightmare. The legend of the ghost thief was born. At dawn, a guard discovered the empty frames. Panic and disbelief swept the museum. News of the heist exploded across Paris and the world. The crime scene was pristine. No fingerprints, no alarms, no clues. Security failures became a national embarrassment. The stolen paintings were priceless, their loss a cultural tragedy. Experts called the works unsellable, doomed to vanish into the shadows. The public was captivated. The thief was dubbed a modern Arsène Lupin. The heist exposed the vulnerability of even the grandest institutions. The empty frames became a symbol of loss and failure. The city mourned its missing masterpieces. For months, Tomic seemed untouchable. The paintings passed from Tomic to Corvez, then to Jonathan Byrne, a watchmaker. Police, stymied by the clean crime scene, turned to informants. An anonymous tip pointed to Tomic, the infamous Spider-Man. Surveillance and investigation led to his arrest a year later. Tomic confessed, detailing the heist with pride. His confession led to Corvez and Byrne's arrests. The trial was a sensation. Tomic, charismatic and unrepentant, became a media star. He received 8 years in prison, but the paintings were missing. Byrne claimed he destroyed them in a panic, dumping them in the trash. The masterpieces were lost, perhaps forever. More than a decade later, the fate of the 5 paintings remains a haunting mystery. Did Byrne really destroy them, or are they hidden in a secret collection? The art world is left with empty frames and unanswered questions. Tomic's story fascinates. A thief, an artist, an outsider with his own code. The heist forced museums to rethink security, exposing deep vulnerabilities. The loss is more than financial. It's a wound to our shared culture. Tomic's obsession, the collector's greed, and our own fascination keep the legend alive. The perfect crime endures because the art is still missing. Until the masterpieces are found, the ghost of Vjeran Tomic haunts the art world. The question remains, where are the masterpieces?